Are you in the midst of change and uncertainty? How would you rate your skill at handling the roller coaster? I like to think that I'm an excellent change navigator, but I was hit with an extra dose of life recently and responded with good old fight, flight, freeze. I needed to get out my tools, remember what works, and add a few new techniques. If you are ready for your own upgrade, join me today, and let's dial up your ability to handle change and uncertainty. This is The Growth Moment with your coach, Amy Kay. Inspiration, ideas, and incredible insights for you to be more and do more. Get ready to grow today. So my plan today is to help you reflect on your ability to handle change and uncertainty. We will also review your current toolkit and assess if it's time for an upgrade. And I will share some of my favorite tools. You get to take what's useful and toss the rest. Think about what kinds of change you handle well and what pushes you off course. What really spins you up or out, puts you in a fight, flight, freeze response. Perhaps you have a current situation to use as an example, or something from your past might give you insight. I deal with all kinds of change and uncertainty with my clients. Surely career, company reorgs, a new boss, a promotion, getting fired or laid off, looking for a new job. And changes in an industry, economy, hurricanes, fires, flooding, elections, a geographical move, health uncertainty, a scary diagnosis or difficulty in getting a diagnosis, not sure what's really going on, relationship transitions, financial disruption, or just ages and stages, life, death, kids growing up, parents getting older, your own physical, emotional, and spiritual changes year in and year out. The famous saying is true. The only constant in life is change. Sometimes we handle it beautifully, calm, a grounded perspective, able to take action when we can and let go when we can't. Other times, the anxiety compounds. We can't stop the spin, leaping from one cognitive distortion to the next, catastrophizing, jumping to conclusions, the inner critic or worrier running the show. So, how do you generally handle change and uncertainty? Scale of 1 to 10, or give yourself a letter grade. If you're like me, you might need to use a scoring range. I would give myself a solid 70% of the time, but there are certain situations that quickly knock it down to a C- or a big fat fail. For sure, situations that involve my son when he is experiencing anxiety, that umbilical cord seems to be surprisingly intact. And not just situations. My capacity for navigating change and uncertainty is affected by the volume of change, not to mention my level of self-care, sleep, nutrition, etc. What's your score or range? What usually knocks you off course? Certain people, situations, timing, something else? Take a moment to jot down your thoughts on your ability to handle change and uncertainty. Pause the audio if needed. When we come back, we will look at where you want to upgrade your capacity and what you might want to add to your toolkit. Let's take a look. What tools are in your kit for handling change and uncertainty? Do you have a few tried and true go-tos? I invite you to make a list right now. Go ahead and see what comes to mind. Even if you think you don't have a toolkit, trust me, you do. Pause the audio to jot down as many thoughts as you can. It's worth the time. Think about past transitions, a particularly big shift, or messy middles where you didn't know what would happen. What or who really helped pull you through? See if you can crystallize a few tangible tools. To help you brainstorm, here are a few of my favorites. And before I forget, I put a link in the show notes to my whole list. I call the first one pause and be present. Super simple, obvious, but somehow easily forgotten. Take a breath. Center myself in this moment, not ruminating on the past, nor worrying about the future. Just be here. Do you have that one in your kit or something like it? If not, do you want to add it to the pile? I like giving the tools a name, Amy Kay style, but this is your list. Yours might be a description or specific instructions or a link to a website that explains it in detail. You do you. Another one of mine is just the facts. This is where I ask myself, what's actually true? Do the facts support any anxious thoughts? Am I doing a bunch of negative what-ifing? I force myself to drop the assumptions and judgment and focus on the facts, not just the feelings. Sometimes I have to write the facts down or do a 2-column facts versus feelings to get my mind to chill out. How might this one be valuable for you? What kind of change and uncertainty swirls you into a vortex of worries or rumination? If you don't have it already, add this one to your kit if you wish. One more for now. Serenity. This is a keeper from my Alcoholics Anonymous days that I rely on continuously. The heart of the serenity prayer is, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's not always easy to discern the difference. However, just asking the question, what can I control, helps my brain cut through the noise and find focus. Take a look at what you have so far. See if my tools sparked any ideas for you. They can be psychological or emotion-based tools like a mantra, specific perspectives, reframing, questions. You can include more physical tools for big changes or uncertainty. What physical practices are likely to help you navigate? A demanding run or exercise routine, meditation, certain foods that you know will reset your body, massage or acupuncture for calming the nervous system, etc. Rituals that help mark or honor the bookends of the change. What is ending and what is now beginning. And don't forget people. Perhaps one of your tools is a go-to person that is almost guaranteed to make the roller coaster more fun and less frightening. Add to your list, even if it's just ideas to get you started. Good work. When we come back, I want to help deepen your list and talk about what happens when the tools aren't working. So what to do when the tools aren't working? That's the tricky part. We might be rock solid one day, handling change and uncertainty like a pro, and the very next moment, we can be blindsided, quickly devolving into a reactive response, tools be damned. My son recently went off to his first year of college. He was ready. I was ready. I was using all my best practices. And I was sad, but in a healthy and reasonable way. And then after a week, my boy hit some doubts, second guessing, loading on the self-pressure, plus the homesickness. Totally normal, but I was not handling it well. No grounding or calm. Definitely a lack of serenity. I found myself negative what-ifing, lying awake at night, trying to fix things. And I know better. I didn't even want to use the tools. I think on some level, I wanted to be worried about this big change because I care so much about this child. But I was not helping in the end. So I pulled the plug. Told my son we would take a break from joint ruminating and touch base at the end of the week. That I believed in him, loved him, and knew that he would find his way. Which he did. In fact, he sent me a great text listing out what he had learned about himself. Basically, his own toolkit. The short version is look at fact versus fiction, don't make snap decisions while in transition, use the power of discipline, go to the gym, and listen to David Goggins. Brilliant. And what did I learn? That Dan Gilbert's quote is true. Human beings are works in progress who mistakenly think they are finished. It's okay to forget to use my tools, to spin, to fall down, to handle something poorly. I am deeply human and will often be in the messy middle of change. I learned that I can make more time and space for my progress, not expecting perfection. Which brings me to another tool on my list. Trust yourself. In the end, trust in your ability to grow and to make your life work step by step. You are worthy of that trust. What tool will you add to your list that will be most powerful when you are smack in the middle of change and uncertainty? Is it trust yourself? Or trust others to take care of themselves? Perhaps permission to be messy and imperfect? Or stop trying to be in control? Take a moment to listen inside. See what bubbles up. The right thing for your kit that will make all the difference. Write it down. When we come back, I have a few more things to share and a challenge for you. First, an important caveat. Today is about improving your ability to navigate change and uncertainty. However, this is not an anxiety or depression toolkit. There might be some overlap, but rely on the experts when your response to change and uncertainty is debilitating. Maybe there's a tool like, in times of chronic stress, seek help. Another important point is that it's not only about handling or navigating. I also want you to leverage change and uncertainty, to use it to your advantage, riding the roller coaster with joy, letting times of flux expand your mind, stretch you, reveal all kinds of new possibilities. How interesting. It did not hit me until right now that I focused on getting through times of change. Words matter. Handling suggests a certain kind of tool, more like managing change. Navigating has a different flavor, guidance, creating a map or direction. But leveraging, that's a whole different energy and points you towards all kinds of cool tools. What about this one? The leverage tool. A handful of questions to ask yourself like, how can I leverage this change? What are all the possibilities? How can I use the uncertainty to stretch myself? Now I want you to come back to your list. See how it's shaping up. My request or challenge to you is to take the time to create an official version 1 of your kit. Type it up as a cheat sheet. Make a real kit, a box with items representing your tools. Design something wonderful to put up on your wall. Make it your own and put it where you can see it, use it, refine, and iterate. A work in progress. I'm always adding new tools. I just did a continuing education seminar on something called TQ, Transitional Intelligence. I picked up a handful of new concepts that I want to explore and see which ones are keepers. Whether you are in the midst of change and uncertainty right now or want to be prepared for the next round, take the lead in figuring out what works for you. What tools bring out your best, help you find your feet, handle, navigate, leverage, and more. And please share your tools with me. Let's do some mixing and matching. I'm always here to support your growth moments, whether it's one-on-one private coaching or joining one of my coaching groups or workshops. Find all the episodes on thegrowthmoment.com and follow on your favorite podcast app or on my YouTube channel. Now get out there and grow today.